Hey, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Cult Life with Robin Jackson. It's going to be a short one this week. I've been quite busy over the past few days, and I've lost one of my uncles, one of my mother's younger brothers, during the course of the week. So that's happened. I've spent some time with the family in terms of my daughter and her art exhibition at school, so it's been quite a busy week. But the whole issue around death, losing a loved one, and the whole grieving process got me thinking about my experiences within the Jehovah's Witnesses and how they deal with death, mourning, and funerals and so forth. So it got me thinking. Now I want to take you back to an experience, one of the experiences I had with very good friends of ours while we were still at Jehovah's Witnesses. Lost one of their children, their son, and I think the son was he must have been about 5 years old at the time. Lost him in a car accident, and we were very close as friends, and this whole incident, this whole death of this little boy hit them very hard. It hit us as close friends very hard because we were always spending time together on the weekends, and so we went on holidays together. But this whole experience, and I'll relate an experience to you about just after the death of this little boy. We as friends and some of the family supported this Jehovah's Witness and her husband during this tough time, to the point that the week after the whole incident, we organized the Tuesday night book study. This was still the time when book studies were a thing. The Tuesday night book study at the house, at the grieving parents' house. And I'll never forget this now. Their father was an elder in the congregation, and during the book study, it was quite an emotional time. The wife burst into tears while the book study was happening, and I, as friends and us sitting there, we could, we could relate, we could understand what she was going through. But what happened next actually shocked me to the core. Her own father came out. He was the book study conductor. And in the book study, while his daughter was breaking down and she was in tears, he came out and said that, it's time that you guys start getting over this now. There's the hope of the resurrection. We need to move on. This is a week after the child was killed in a car accident. And it just really shocked me to the core for a father in the Jehovah's Witnesses to be so cold towards the grieving process, the emotional trauma and the pain that this woman, his daughter, and the rest of the family was going through. And it was just mind-blowing to me. And that was one experience. So, the Jehovah's Witnesses are not allowed to mourn the death of a loved one as normal people should. And I've experienced this. Their funerals. I've been to many Jehovah's Witness funerals. And it's a cold, impersonal talk that gets given. It's a recruitment drive. It's every talk, every event within the Jehovah's Witness community, or in the broader and the bigger picture, is a recruitment drive. Weddings are a recruitment drive. Funerals are a recruitment drive. It's not about the actual people that they celebrate. They don't celebrate the death, well, not celebrating the death, but the life of the loved, of the one that has passed away. It is mentioned, the person who's passed away is mentioned, just by the way. we hear, yes, we're paying our last respects, but the governing body, the Watchtower, recruitment drive, paradise. And that's what it's all about. It's a very impersonal and cold affair. And I'll tell you, in one of the last Jehovah's Witness funerals I actually attended, I actually walked out because during the course of the talk, because I just couldn't stand how impersonal it was, and the what was being spewed from the platform by this elder giving the talk. I took my son and I walked out, and I just couldn't stomach that anymore. But yeah, that's how Jehovah's Witnesses deal with death and mourning and grieving. They don't deal with it at all. It's pushed by the way. It's all a recruitment drive. They are told to move on. You'll see the person again in paradise, in the new system, and so forth. So and I thought I'd just mention that it's something that has always bothered me while I was a Jehovah's Witness, and even after leaving, it's something that was very, very unnatural to me as a human being, and I really couldn't stomach the way people were treated in that organization. Anyway, as I said, it's going to be a short one. It was just a random rant about death and mourning and funerals. And, I think Jehovah's Witnesses really take the humanity out of all the events, especially funerals. And it's something that many of you who are listening in would probably have experienced as well. The humanity, the emotions are taken away. It's not actually addressed. It doesn't get resolved, and some of these loved ones suffer for years, going to depression at some stage because of not actually dealing with the trauma or the death of a loved one in a way that humans should be dealing with it. So that's just my random rant today. It's, as I said, a short one. But I will be back next week with a full-on episode. I will be interviewing a former South African Jehovah's Witness who now lives in the UK. And she'll talk about her experience while living in South Africa and the congregation she grew up in, and her little activism that she took part in terms of exposing the organization here in South Africa. So look out for that. We will be talking to her next week. Should be an interesting show. And just by the way, I actually took delivery of a little scooter. Well, not a little scooter. It's quite a mid-sized scooter. I think those of you who are bikers listening in would relate that. I'm really enjoying it. It's a brand new scooter. I'll probably post a little video on the YouTube channel for you guys to see, to analyze and just review the bike. But I'm really enjoying it. It's something that I had to do in terms of just saving a little bit more in terms of my commute. And it's really making a difference to my pocket, and I'm really enjoying the daily ride on it. But yeah, that's just a side note. So thanks for listening. I will be back next week with a full-on episode, and listen out for that. So until next week, bye for now.